For the purposes of farm expansion and assurance of quality seedling for your farm, it is expected that commercial farms produce their own parent plant that they can use to produce their seedling. My name is Anyonam and this is the Ghanaian Farmer. Get interactive on our social media platform, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube, the Ghanaian Farmer. This week on this episode, we are coming to enlighten you about how Solo comes by their parent plant so that they can cut it to produce their seedling. And of course, for the expansion of the farm, and definitely the climatic condition is different. So if you're not able to have this facility in place to actually do this production, it means you have to go and buy from elsewhere to bring it here, adjust it to the condition and everything, which is a lot of waste of time and resources. So we want to know the purpose of this center. What does it do? What is the function? How important is it to the passion farming here in Sono Industrial Ghana Limited? Right. My name once again is Anyonam. I'm going for a quick breather. When I come back, as usual, my boss would be joining me to enlighten us more about what we are seeing right behind us. I'll be right back after this. Stay tuned. Thanks for staying. If you just tune in, this is the Ghanaian Farmer, and this week's episode is introducing you to the passion farming. This is the first step and is very important to you as a would-be passion fruit farmer. Thank you very much, Mr. Bernard.
Welcome.
And thanks for joining us once again. So we found ourselves in a greenhouse. Yes. Under normal circumstance, when you see a greenhouse, you think about the tomatoes and other things, but you are using it for a different purpose. Yeah. What is the purpose or the importance of this center where we find ourselves?
Very well said. So, like in your intro, you made mention of the importance of having a greenhouse. Yeah. Mainly what this is meant to do is to have us produce our own planting materials, which is the seedling that we need to plant in the field. Right. So that is the purpose of this greenhouse.
Okay. So how do you come by the parent plant?
Okay, so the plants, when in the field, just like human beings, they are also living organisms. And so there are some of the plants which exhibit superior traits. The ones that we are looking to see with all our plants in the field. So we identify these plants, mark them, and then we bring them here in the greenhouse to come and raise them, to preserve those qualities.
Okay. All right. So these are actually from the field.
Yes.
And then they are brought here because they exhibit strength and can be used as parent plants.
Yes, so vegetatively they are very robust. We've identified them to have the potential to produce up to the levels that we are looking for, and that is why we are looking to preserve these traits and make cuttings out of them.
Okay, so when you bring it from the field and bring it here, now tell me some of the things you put in place before you actually put it into the plastic bag we see.
Okay, so to preserve the qualities that you have identified, the greenhouse setup must be free of any pests and disease traits. Okay. So anything that will introduce or have the potential to harbor disease inoculum, you take away from the greenhouse. Okay. Before you bring the cuttings from the field, like you are seeing, you need to fill bags with your medium. Okay. So we call them the pots and get them ready. You need to also have a source of irrigation, that is your watering. So you can see there are pipes that we have connected to the bags. This is a drip irrigation system that we have in the greenhouse. So once this setup is in place, then you are sure when you bring your cuttings from the field, you bring straight into the pots, and then you are there.
Now you mentioned pot or medium. What is the mixture of it?
So this is pre-mixed potting medium that we got, mainly made up of cocoa pits with the elements that you require to support the growth of the plants.
Okay. I realized that the whole place is carpeted. Why?
So, like I told you,
yes,
we want to prevent any potential disease organism from getting in contact with our seedlings. And so we floor the area to create a barrier between the soil and our operating area, which is the greenhouse proper.
Okay. And also the plastic bag that contains the medium, I also realized that it is on top of another kind of crates. Why? Because if that is plastic and this place is carpeted, it can just be directly on the carpets.
Okay.
Is this still for the prevention of?
So it also does same, but it's a further enhancement on the first step. Another advantage of flooring is to ensure you don't get weeds coming out, growing in the greenhouse. Okay, so this keeps the weeds under the mat. Okay, so any organic material has the potential to harbor disease organisms. So the plastics are to further raise and give you that assurance, okay, that no disease organism travels from the ground into the poly bags, the pots.
Right. So when you bring the cartons from the field, your medium is in the polythene bag, and you introduce it into it. How long does it take to be ready for you to start cutting also to go and produce your seedling?
So as you can see, we've made seedlings already. So we've cut to a certain level. In the next 3 weeks, you will have the plant itself. This variety has the potential to grow about 1.5 meters in a week. Okay. So in 3 weeks, you are talking about up to 3 meters of vine that you can have. Potentially, if you are making cuttings out of 10 to 12 centimeters, you can do close to 25 cuttings out of one vine.
Okay. Now, when you bring the cuttings and introduce them into the medium, is it immediately you start introducing water? You start irrigating it, or it takes some days before you start irrigating it?
Okay, so the conditions are such that you prepare the pot before you introduce your cutting. So before you put the cutting in the pot, it should have been watered adequately. So once we have done that, we check for the moisture content. And this is a greenhouse, so you know we are very particular about the kind of conditions that the plants are introduced to. Once we realize that the pots are dry or the condition needs us to water, we go in. It's just like in the field. We have probes that measure the water content in the ridges. It happens same here.
All right. Now, the water you use, we kept mentioning water. Is it rainwater, tap water, or underground water? What water do you use?
Okay, so this is a very, very interesting question. Microorganisms are able to stay in water. And these are the same ones that we want to prevent from coming onto our plants. And so we treat the water, before we use them to irrigate our plants.
All right, so it's not a random water that you just open your tap and then you release it into the field.
No,
it's nothing like that.
So what we do is that we, firstly, we use clean borehole water that we pump first into an overhead tank, get it to stay in there for a while, and then we further treat.
All right. I realized that there's an air conditioner. Can you imagine? So they are doing something else. See, I want air conditioning in my studio. I don't have. I can see some huge fan right behind where the plants are. What is the essence of that? Why do they need a fan?
Okay, so once the sun is up, you need to keep a maximum temperature of around 27 degrees in the greenhouse. Anything beyond that is not too healthy for the plants. And so that is why we have these fans fixed. They draw heat out of the greenhouse
Okay.
and introduce
Fresh air.
fresh air
Okay.
to keep the temperature at the level that is required
For the plants.
in the greenhouse.
Okay. All right. So at this level, I've realized that you started cutting already. Is it weekly cuts or monthly cut, or as and when you're going to replant new field, then you come and cut?
So we run a rotation.
Okay.
We make as many cuttings as we need.
Okay.
And so there is a rotation. You know, one depending on your planting, the planting distance you adopt, you need between 1,600 to about 2,200 seedlings in a hectare, and so you need to have enough seedlings.
Okay.
So it's an ongoing activity. Yes.
Okay. Now, my next question would be, when you're coming or you start cutting, how long can you be cutting the parent plant for before you have to rechange the whole thing?
As long as the vines are healthy in the greenhouse.
Yes.
We've already established that
Right.
these are cuts,
Okay.
and so they don't overgrow.
Okay.
So as long as they stay healthy, you can exploit
continue
the potential
cutting.
and keep cutting.
Okay. Okay. I see. I also realized at this point, you are still directing it around the rope. Parent plant, they are father and mother. Why are you still directing them as well?
So the traits of the passion plant does
Yes.
not change.
Okay.
The tendrils and then the growth point will direct itself, and so there is always the need to train the plant to grow in a way to allow you maximum space to
Okay.
harvest cuttings.
Okay.
And so as we do in the field, it's the same principle that we apply in the greenhouse.
All right. So last question before we move to the next level of this whole process is when we walked in, you asked that I rub my feet at a certain area of the carpet. Why? Why is it so?
So, you know, you are coming from outside.
Yeah.
And we have a certain practice that we observe. Okay, these are standard practices. So
Okay.
you need to foot bath. Okay, so we have this powdery fungicide that we have at the entrance that
Okay.
you need to
To
foot bath before you come
moved
in.
in.
So you remove any risk of pathogens that you may be carrying
Okay.
before you come in.
Okay. At this stage, do you also give it fertilizer?
Yes, we fertilize.
Okay.
Yes.
Until when? Or as long as you are cutting?
As long as we keep it in the greenhouse, we supply fertilizer.
Okay, so you told me from here we are moving to another stage of the whole process.
Yes, so we have a nursery
Okay.
where we condition the plants.
Right.
And then we also keep the cuttings for a while. So we can go and
To
see
that stage. Okay.
what
Goes on
we
there.
get once we have made the cuttings
From
from
here. Okay, so that's it. We're going to the next stage of the whole process so you can see what goes on there before from there we see the full matured plant on the field that even gives you your passion. My name is still Enyonam Manye, and this is the Ghanaian farmer. This whole month is dedicated to Sono because we are talking about passion. We want to take you through the entire process of passion. And so that's it. We are going for a quick breather. When we come back, you see us at the next stage and then we'll wrap it up all there. But for now, let me go and drink some water. For staying, if you just tune in, you're watching the Ghanaian Farmer. My name is Enyonam, and I have my boss with me, Bernard, who has been taking me through the entire farm. So from where we have our parent plant, this level or this stage or this facility is called the nursery. So now let's get to talk briefly about what happens here at the nursery level. So Bernard, you told me that from where we have the parent plant, when we do the cuttings, we bring it here. So tell me, when I bring it here finally, what do I do again?
Okay,
What
so
goes
once
on here?
we've made our cuttings, we plant them. The pots that we use there
Yeah.
are much bigger because that is the parent material.
Yes.
These are much smaller.
Yeah.
And so the pots are also small. So we plant the pots here and then we nurture them. So you asked about fertilizer.
Yeah.
we do all our agronomic practices, watering, fertilization, pruning, also here, and watch the plant grow, releasing shoot after shoot, shoot after shoot.
Okay. Now, there's one unique thing, which is at where the parent plant are, the medium there is cocoa peats and something else. But this level, it is sand. This is real sand. Why? Why are you not maintaining the same medium?
Okay, so we realized that here at the nursery, the soil supports the seedlings better
Okay.
here at the nursery.
Right.
So the conditions here is our main reason for using the soil.
Okay. So what soil is this?
This is a mixture of loamy and sandy soil. So
Okay.
this is sandy loam
Okay.
that we have kept in the pot.
Okay. So when you're moving the cuttings from the parent's plant
Yeah.
and bringing it here, what happens to the soil before you introduce the plant into it?
Okay, so if you may zoom in a little,
Yeah.
you can see behind me
Yes.
we have our normal plastic pots, which are smaller.
Okay.
So the curtains are sewn in the smaller plastic pots to get them to condition for about 3 weeks.
Okay.
And then once they've developed roots
Right.
and shot the first shoot,
Yeah.
we
Transfer it.
transfer it into a bigger bag to give it
Okay.
more room for rooting and also allow the shoots to develop.
Okay. I can see that the soil
So this
is
is the second stage.
second stage. Okay, the soil is wet. Does it mean at this stage too you keep giving it water, and how often do you give it water? And this time round, there are no irrigation tubes on top of it, so do you do it manually, and at what time of the day?
Yes, so here at the nursery,
Yes.
we water manually.
Okay.
And the reason is that the space, we all know, is not as big as in the open field. That
Yes.
is one.
Yes.
And so it is easy to do compared to when you are in the field.
Yeah.
That's one. And then number two, we are able to feel, looking at number of plants here, the moisture, okay, both electronically and using physical means to identify or to really be sure that
Okay.
water is enough. But like I told you, the passion needs adequate water
Okay.
in order to do well.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The other thing is that we are, like I told you before, treating the water.
Yes.
And so we are comfortable to get the treatment right so that we use it to water the plants.
Okay. So what time of the day do I give it water?
So
The
with
manual way.
With the nursery plants, they are very, very tender. And so we do it very early.
Okay.
Between 6 to 9 o'clock,
Okay.
the seedling should be watered.
Right. The nursery is happening in between plants, but yet you still have a net, you know, on top of the whole place. Why? What is all this protocol? Why?
Okay, so like the name suggests,
Yes.
it's a nursery.
Yes.
These are smaller plants that need special protection from the harsh environment
Okay.
in the field
Right.
that we were earlier on.
Okay.
And so the tree is to provide that natural environment. That's
Okay.
number one. The shade net that you see here
Yeah.
is to further filter the sun rays coming in. So we are reducing the amount of sun rays that will hit the plants
Directly.
here. So
Okay.
this does filtering of up to about 50%.
Okay.
And then the trees also further does about 10 to 20%.
Okay.
So we are only getting 30% sunlight
Hitting the
coming,
plant
into
the
greenhouse.
facility.
Yeah.
Okay. So how long are they going to stay here for, these babies, before you say they are mature and you move them to the field, the harsh weather conditions?
Okay, so we keep them in the pots,
Yeah.
the smaller pots, for between 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
And then we transplant them
Yeah.
into this bigger pot
Yeah.
to allow more rooting room.
Okay.
And then they are in this pot for 3 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
So in all, you have them stay here for 4 months
Okay. Before they are
before
gone.
we take them to the field.
All right. So when you're going to the field, do you remove them from the pollen bag, or you take the whole pollen bag and then you put it into the ground? Why are you
Okay.
laughing?
Okay, so we move them in the poly bags
Okay.
to the field.
Okay.
But like I explained when we were in the field, you need to have rocked to get them.
Okay.
If there are any roots in the soil,
Yeah.
you need to have conditioned them through hardening.
Okay.
Okay, that's introducing them to some higher amount of sunlight.
Okay.
And we do that in the area just in front of you. You
Yeah.
can see that open area. So we take this and then we do our holing
Okay.
of the same size.
Right.
And then we remove the poly and plant the ball of soil
Okay.
together with the seedling
Inside.
in the ridges.
Okay. Okay. Now at this stage, do we still have some insects or diseases worrying it, even at this stage?
Yes, so foliage eating insects
Okay.
are everywhere once it is passing.
Right.
But then the IPM regime covers the nursery as well.
Okay.
And so we scout here also, and then we check the prevalence, and then we follow up with interventions if we have to.
Okay. But under normal circumstance, if I'm working in the nursery area, what and what am I expected to do on daily basis when I walk in? What are some of the basic things I do? I see the women removing something and picking something, replacing. What do I do?
Okay, so the nursery is a specialized job.
Yeah.
It's a specialized area. You need a lot of patience and tendering in order to work here.
Okay.
So you must have patience and you must be attentive to detail
Okay.
and be able to do exactly what you have been told
To do.
in order to ensure that the plants receive the highest attention. Okay, so like you know, we fill the pot here.
Okay.
So I'll show you there. You see we have our soil
Yes.
heaped there. We sieve and then we fill them into our crates.
Yes.
That we do here. Once we pack the crates on our platforms, we water, and that is when we now do our curtains
Okay.
and plant in those pots.
Okay.
We also do transplanting from those pots, smaller pots, into this bigger polys. Okay, they are all supposed to be arranged in lines on the platform,
Okay.
so allow you to be able to identify plants with special needs and attend to them as they are supposed to.
Okay.
We need to water also, so the adequacy of your watering, the moisture content that you are supposed to achieve, you need to be able to experientially be up to it.
Okay. I know you mentioned a couple of times that passion is a water-loving crop. But now that we are about going into the raining season, as a farmer, should I be worried when the rain is coming continuously?
Yes.
And it's pouring on my nursery?
Yes, overwatering is also not ideal. And so we will resort fully
Okay.
to the greenhouse
Ah.
during the rainy season.
You don't have any activity going on here?
Yes.
Okay. 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 Interesting. Now my last question will be the labeling. I walk in here and I can see AC10, flashing, something, block E, and other things, you know, some behind me. Why do you have labels?
Okay, so if you look critically,
Yeah.
just watch behind you. You can see these are newly potted seedlings,
Okay.
which are in the smaller pots.
Yeah. The seeding tray.
The ones we are standing by are the next stage, which are much bigger.
Okay.
It means they've grown from the smaller pots into this one.
Yeah.
And then behind you at the extreme end, you
Yeah.
see ones that are much older.
Yeah, very grown.
Okay, so the labeling is to give you a fair idea of the various stages
They are.
and numbers. Okay, when you enter the nursery, so
Okay.
you know where to go exactly.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now I'll ask you these quick questions. Sono, do you sell your seedlings?
Unfortunately, we don't sell our seedlings.
Okay, so those of you will be calling me, we want seedling. We are not selling for now. You don't sell. But wrapping up.
We accept partnerships, and
Okay.
so we are still very open. If you want to have concrete information on partnerships and ways we can collaborate, yes, we are open to you.
Okay.
And so you can visit us here
Okay.
at Sono, and then we will be able to go beyond this interview stage.
Okay, all right. Now, in wrapping up the whole interview from parent plant to nursery, that one caution again that you'd give to, maybe there's someone somewhere also who's doing this, but something your experience, your years of working here, what would be that one or two, advice that you would give to the general public?
Yes, so whether you are doing it on commercial basis or you are just interested in a farming passion in your home garden
Yeah.
or in your porch, it is very important that you pay attention to the details that is needed to raise and be successful with passion. Standard agronomic practices are very, very, very important for you to see what there is to see with passion. And so, like Enyo advised,
Yeah.
we are open. Come and learn from us. Come and get some schooling on how to do this professionally, and you will harvest passion.
Okay, how do we find you on social media or website?
You can visit the Picama Group website or type in Sono on Google, and then you'll find our emails, you'll find our phone contact details, and important personnel that you can contact on our site.
Okay.
If you want to visit the Sono factory site and farm site, we are located off Esamankesi Esioko Road, not too far from main Esaman town.
Okay.
So you are welcome anytime.
All right, so there you have it, another insightful and educational interview or information about passion farming here in Ghana, precisely in the eastern region. And today, or this whole month, is dedicated to telling the insightful and impactful story of Sono Industries Ghana Limited. They've been here for a long time and doing amazing things. So if you are thinking of going into passion farming, this information is very relevant. But if you are ready and looking forward to partnership, Sono is open for that. If you have the land, your 50 acre, your 100 acre, your 20 acre, 30 acre, you want to do passion, visit Sono and have that deliberate, unintentional conversation with them. They might just be interested. If you pitch well, if you know you're not good at pitching, come and see me. Let me give you some apple. But until then, thank you so much for watching The Ghanaian Farmer. Let's hear from you. Drop your messages, your questions, anything that you want to know. But keep watching The Ghanaian Farmer. Keep sharing our videos. Subscribe and let's hear from you. Thank you very much for doing this with me this week. I'll see you some other time. Bye-bye.